Picture this. November 1923. Berlin. A woman burns stacks of German marks in her stove. Not because she's wealthy, because paper money is cheaper than firewood. A loaf of bread costs 200 billion marks. Yesterday, it was 20 billion. Workers demand to be paid twice a day. Not for extra shifts, but because their morning wages are worthless by lunch. This isn't fiction. This is what happens when a government decides the solution to debt is a printing press. How did one of Europe's most advanced economies destroy its own currency in just 4 years? And why does every detail of this story feel like a warning we're ignoring today? To understand Germany's hyperinflation, we need to go back to 1918. World War I has just ended. Germany has lost. And the Treaty of Versailles demands something unprecedented. Reparations totaling 132 billion gold marks, roughly $33 billion at the time, or about $500 billion in today's money. But here's the problem. Germany's economy is shattered. Its factories are damaged. Its workforce is depleted. Its gold reserves are nearly empty. So the Weimar government faces an impossible choice: raise taxes on a starving population, default on the debt, or print money. They chose option 3. At first, it seems manageable. Print a little extra, pay the bills, stimulate the economy. What could go wrong? In 1919, $1 equals 12 German marks. By 1921, it's 75 marks. By mid-1922, it's 400 marks. By November 1923, $1 equals 4.2 trillion marks. This isn't inflation. This is currency annihilation. So how does a currency collapse this fast? Think of an economy like a game of musical chairs. The chairs are real goods. Bread, steel, houses. The players are marks competing to buy those goods. In a healthy economy, the number of chairs and players stays roughly balanced. But when you print money, you're adding players without adding chairs. More money, same amount of stuff. Prices rise. Now here's where it spirals. As prices rise, people expect them to keep rising. So they spend money immediately before it loses value. This increases demand, which pushes prices even higher. The Reichsbank responds by printing more money to keep up with rising prices, which causes more inflation, which requires more printing. It's a feedback loop with no exit. By 1923, Germany is printing notes in denominations of 100 trillion marks. Printing presses run 24 hours a day. They can't print fast enough. People carry money in wheelbarrows. There are stories of thieves stealing the wheelbarrow and leaving the cash. Restaurants don't print menus anymore. Prices change during the meal. Savings accounts evaporate. A lifetime of work becomes worthless overnight. The psychological breaking point comes when people stop believing the money represents anything at all. By late 1923, Germans are bartering directly. Cigarettes and eggs become more trusted than paper marks. Foreign currencies, especially the US dollar, become the real medium of exchange. The mark exists only as a ghost. The middle class is obliterated. Anyone who saved money in a bank or held government bonds loses everything. Pensioners starve, students drop out, professionals become beggars. But here's the dark irony. Not everyone loses. Those with debt. Their loans become worthless too. Borrowers pay off mortgages with a day's wages. Industrialists with hard assets, factories, land, machinery, survive. Some even profit. The wealth gap doesn't just widen, it becomes a chasm. On November 15th, 1923, the government finally acts. They issue a new currency, the Rentenmark, backed by land and industrial assets rather than gold. One Rentenmark equals 1 trillion old marks. The hyperinflation ends almost overnight, but the damage is permanent. The social trauma of Weimar hyperinflation never healed. An entire generation learned that savings are a lie, that governments will sacrifice your wealth to pay their debts, that paper money is only worth what others believe it's worth. This breakdown of trust created the conditions for extremism. When people lose everything, they become desperate for someone, anyone, who promises stability. By 1933, the Nazi Party rises to power, partly fueled by the economic rage of the 1920s. Hyperinflation didn't cause World War II, but it created the environment where authoritarianism could thrive. So why does this story matter today? Because the tools of 1923 are still in use. Central banks around the world have printed trillions since 2008. National debts have exploded. Inflation is back. We tell ourselves it's different this time. Modern central banks are smarter. We have better controls. Maybe that's true, or maybe we're just early in the same cycle and the chairs are starting to disappear. So here's my question for you. If your government had to choose between defaulting on its